Well, hello everybody, this is Johnny Chazz, and welcome to our next edition on Casino Gambling. And today we're going to talk about wagering on the NBA basketball or any type of basketball in your recent or your local sports books or local wagering shops. Typically what you're going to see are betting numbers in front of each team. So example, here we have obviously the Mavericks, team 501, and the bottom team always being the home team, the Heat, game 502. Now we are referring here to a game that was played just last night, Thursday, June 2nd, that's now final. The betting line, the way we call it, is the line is 4.5. The Heat favored by 4.5 points, and the total on the game 187. We'll talk about the money lines in just a second. But looking here, if you were to make what's called a straight bet here, you would lay $11 to win 10. Okay, 11 to win 10. And what that means is if you take the Heat, you have to win the game by more than 4.5 points. So that means if the Heat win by 5 points or more, you have a winning wager that's paid at $10 for every 11 wagered, or what we call minus 110, 110 to win 100. That's the juice that you lay. All straight bets are 11 to win 10. Some sports books do offer 10.5 to win 10, depending on their promotions. Now the Mavericks, you would ask for team 501, and you would say a straight bet on 501, and you would take what we would kind of inverse that, and instead of laying 4.5, you are what your ticket would say plus 4.5 points on the Mavericks, and that means that you have a 4.5 point bonus on top of their final score. So if they lose by 4 or win the game outright, you would still win your straight bet at 10 to 11. The total is 187 on the game, and we call that over or under, and you would ask for the over or under on this game. So if the game total, both teams combined, adds up to more than 187, the game would go over, and that's also a straight bet at 10 to 11 or minus 110. Or if you bet the game under, if the final score was, let's say, 91 to 90, totaling 181, that of course would be an under payoff, and payoff at odds of 10 to 11. Over here we have what's called the money lines. And what that means is for the Mavericks, if you think the Mavericks can win the game outright as an underdog, for every dollar that you wager, you will win $1.80. So a $100 wager would win you $1.80, which would return you $280 on the Dallas Mavericks. So keep that in mind. If you were to take the Miami Heat, who are favored to win the game, since it's less risk, you have a lot larger lay. So you would have to lay $2.20 to win $1, or $220 to win 100, which would return you $320. But you have to lay $220 to win that $100. So the minus is what you have to lay to win 100 or to win $1, and the plus is what $1 will get you, or $100 will get you in total. So keep that in mind. So we have what's called sides or teams, 501, 502, which are straight bets with or without the points, and you can go a straight bet over or under. And remember, you can always tie two bets together, what we call a two-team parlay, which pays 13 to 5 or 2.6 to 1. You could ask for the Heat minus 4.5 and the game over 187, and if the Heat win by 5 or more and the game total is over 187, you would receive a payoff of $13 for every 5 wagered, or 2.6 to 1 times your bet, which would return for a $100 bet $260 plus your original wager, $360 on the parlay. Now remember that last night's final score was the Mavericks 95 and the Heat 93. And with that in mind, the total was 188, so the game went over by 1 point. The game did go over. Okay, keep that in mind, 95-93. And the Mavericks did cover with the 4.5 since they won it outright. And also on the money line, anybody that wagered the Mavericks plus 180 received a nice generous payoff since they won the game outright. Those that laid the 220 on an outright win for the Heat, a tough loss with a 15-point lead in the final stretches. Okay, this is Johnny Chazz on NBA betting. This works the same in college basketball, sides and totals, and of course money lines and parlays should you wish. We'll see you next week for our next edition of Johnny Chazz on Casino Gambling. Have a good day.